I see. Yep, it's live. We need to do an intro for you. You need to get an intro.
I know. You know how far I'm so far behind with everything. I still don't even know everything that I can do with this.
Oh my goodness.
It's so vanilla. It is so vanilla.
Vanilla. Oh, okay.
It's the best way I can describe it.
All righty. Let's see here. Yeah, we gotta. Maybe we'll one of these nights we'll just we'll get together on here and we'll do you an intro because you need it. You need it. You need a countdown. You have a countdown.
I do.
It's built into it. Yes.
What do you mean? So
if you go off on the side and you look at brand on the brand, yeah. Scroll down to videos.
Oh, mine's a little slow.
It's okay. You'll see a 30-second. It should have like a 30 on it.
Oh yeah.
So you can actually click on that when you're ready to go live. It'll switch the screen to a countdown, and then that gives you a chance to click on the live, and then it sends the notification out to everyone. That way, it gives them a couple minutes or 30 seconds to get on here. Oh, look.
But you have to do it at like 30 seconds, right?
No, as soon as you click on the video, it starts. It'll take over and it'll mute everyone's microphone. And then you click on live, it'll go live, and then you wait for the countdown, and it pops right back to this.
One of our peaches is watching.
What's up, Jossie? I love Jossie. She's so awesome.
Oh my gosh, I can't even. Like if I could just pick her up and take her home with me and keep her here forever, I would.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say the same thing because that would be weird.
She literally is. I don't stop laughing the entire time I'm around her. She's the best.
Awesome.
So how are you?
I'm doing good.
What we're going to talk about?
What are we going to talk about?
I mean, it's been so long since I've had first of all you on. So
yeah. It's been a minute or two.
It has been, and a lot's happened. So I'm hearing an echo. Do you hear it?
I hear a little echo, but it sounds like you need carpeting.
You think it's because of where I'm at?
I hear just the echo. It doesn't bother me though. Okay. It's not a big deal.
So I've had all these people come on that have been, all different kinds of stuff, and I haven't had anybody on that's anti-stuff.
Anti-stuff. And I think that would be me, right? Oh wait, one of your viewers here, Dominic, he had a question, and that's for Dominic. There you go. I still have it, Dom.
Yes. It's amazing.
So anti-stuff. What are we anti-stuffing here? What are we talking about?
So I'm going to be having like an interesting array of guests coming up, right? So I'm going to have like a couple alien guys.
Interesting.
Which, I never did that before.
Okay.
There's another woman coming on that I'm not quite sure what. It'll be interesting.
Not quite sure really what she does.
Right.
Okay.
This
is part of our job. We're supposed to research the guest, so we know what.
I don't ever.
You don't ever.
So that's part of my thing is I don't really want to know too much because when you come on, I want to be like I'm one of the people watching and viewing. What questions would I want to know?
Okay.
I want to be just as.
What questions do you want to know?
I already know everything about you.
Oh, really? Wow. Hey. How very Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe you are. I know everything. My name is 42.
Oh, hi, April. Oh, wait.
My hubby knows so much about aliens, not me. No, I find that interesting, and I'm not trying to be confrontational, but I find it interesting how people use phrases like that, where they're like, oh, so-and-so knows so much about aliens, or this person knows so much about ghosts. And it's like, do you really? Because I don't remember us having one to like
Yeah,
study.
I agree with you there.
I mean,
agree
I
with you.
get it. I
think-
get it. It's probably like the folklore, you know, or the stories and stuff like Roswell and Area 51, and all these like stories that everyone has heard of. But I guess from I take a lot of things more literal, I guess.
Yeah.
So when people say, "Oh, I know everything about
Right,
that,"
right,
I'm like, "All right, what do you know? Let's talk about it. Let's get into this." And then you usually find out it's just the stories and stuff, because like ghosts, you have aliens, Bigfoot, we don't know shit about them.
Right.
Honestly, when it comes down to it, we don't know
Yeah.
anything about them. And
Yeah.
I just find it fascinating.
People do say that a lot. I think when I hear that, it comes from people that aren't in the same circle. It's like people that don't know much about it, or they watch TV shows and they just think it's cool, but they don't think twice about it more than, every other month.
Right.
But like, so for me, when they say that, I just take it as they think it as a whole. Like,
Right.
oh, they know so much about ghosts, meaning they know about the investigating part of it, or they know this, or they know, you know what I mean? Not just the just the ghost.
Right. Right. Okay.
That's
So,
what I always thought. But that is a good point. Like, nobody can know anything.
you can't know about the unknown.
Right.
I mean, you can chip away at it, and the unknown becomes the known as you chip away at what's out there. But yeah, when people generalize, and I'm not picking on her that made the comment. I don't want that. I don't want to come across as that. It's just, when people make a generalized statement like that, it's like, oh, okay. I'm curious. Right. It raises my curiosity. Like, what do you know? Let's get into it. And it's interesting. It's interesting to say the least when you start questioning and say, oh, what do you know?
Right.
And you start getting a lot of like, oh, well, I heard this and I heard that. I'm like, okay. All right.
See, so this is what I'm saying. Like, the biggest thing I think when people honestly, and this is no secret, so you know this, but when people honestly don't like you, or because you know what I mean?
What? What? Right. When did that happen? Who? I didn't get the memo.
Wherever you piss off, you get. I honestly think it's 1,000%. I always say this. I'm like, you're to those people, you're misunderstood. They don't understand. Like, they take it offensively,
right,
as opposed to thinking or exposed realizing that you genuinely are trying to gather the information and understand it.
Right.
And you have the pieces are a jigsaw puzzle, and they got to fit in order for you to say, okay, I get it, or I see it, or I know it, or I believe it.
This gets into something called the Dunning-Kruger effect, where it's a psychological term. It means basically like it's looking at people that really don't know a lot about a subject, and it's like the less you know, the more confident you are in like your knowledge. You think you know a lot,
right?
Whereas the other side of the coin is the people that actually like really study it and understand it, and getting into it, know how much they don't know, and they're less confident in it. I mean, they're confident in what they do know, but they're also confident where like I know a little bit about a lot of things, and I know enough to know.
No, you don't.
Oh yeah.
You are one of like the smartest people I know.
Oh my goodness, I am not, and I'm sure there's plenty of people in the chat room that argue with you.
No, wait, no, I think you. And then I had this guest on, Ron Murphy. I promise you, he's probably if there was an opposite you, because he just knows so much information about the theories of everything. You know what I mean? So I mean, he's like, I could say green color, and he would be like, well, the green color originally
originated in 1752.
I'm like, how do you know all this stuff?
Yeah, that comes from, I mean, I can relate. That's years and years of just knowledge, and sometimes useless knowledge. I in addition to all the books, not only this shelf, but I think I've shown you before, like all the tons of books that I have on those shelves back there. I go through them all. I try to read as much as I can. And I mean, I try to get instructional videos on YouTube. That's kind of hard to find sometimes because there's so much bullshit. Are you walking around with me?
I am. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I was like, where are we going? We're going on a trip.
They were talking, so I had to come upstairs. So
yeah, I love to read. I love to continually read. I mean, one of the guys in the chat room, Dave Schumacher, is a friend of mine, good friend of mine. He's smarter than I am, a lot smarter than I am. And I love going back and forth with him. We have some great conversations and debates. And
now, is he a believer in the paranormal stuff?
He's more in the parapsychology side. He studies parapsychology. He's awesome. He's I would consider him a scientist. I think, Dave, if you're still around, his background is in science, and just an amazing gentleman. He's one of the co-hosts.
But he does parapsychology?
Parapsychology. He is pretty deep in the parapsychology end of it.
Okay, so I have been trying to get somebody that does. I don't know. Is that a degree?
So that's an interesting topic. Let's spend a minute on that. So yes, you can get a degree in parapsychology, but there's not many places, and I still believe there's nowhere in the United States that you can get it right now.
Really?
You used to be back.
Because I feel like there's a college in West Virginia or Virginia or something like that.
They can offer like a certificate of completion, or they can offer classes. But as far as I know, no one has a degree program for parapsychology in the United States. And I'm sure if there is, Dave will correct me because he would know. But you can get, I think the big one is the University of Edinburgh over in the UK. But you generally need an advanced degree in something else, like psychology, before you go and minor in parapsychology. And that's one of the big things. That's one of the focuses of one of my articles a while back, is because people were presenting themselves as parapsychologists when all they were doing is doing these like diploma mill bullshit degrees that you pay like $35 for. And you spend a couple hours, you read a little bit, you take a test, and you get a parapsychology certificate. I don't have mine here; it's downstairs. But
you have one?
I have one. It's not a degree though. It's not a degree. It's not a legitimate degree. It's not a legitimate diploma. It's basically an unaccredited institution online offered the course, and I think I paid $40. And it was supposed to be like, I forget the exact number, but it was supposed to be 120 hours worth of course study. And
just one little thing?
I finished it in 5 hours, and I didn't even read the material. I just took the tests. And I was drunk. So I was able to pass it and get honors.
Oh my God, Kenny, you ruined everything. Here I'm thinking, I'm like, no, you know what though? I still want to, I've been trying to get somebody to come on my show that is a parapsychologist.
Good luck.
Nobody is answering.
Most of the ones that claim they are not.
I don't understand it.
Lloyd Auerbach, he actually has a legitimate degree. And I don't know, again, this is something I'll get you I'll put you in touch with Dave because he would know who to talk to, or who you could probably try and get to come on and talk about it. I'm not familiar with the people involved, so I wouldn't know who to recommend. But yeah, everyone that I've come across pretty much face to face in regards to parapsychologists has all had fake degrees. There you go.
Yeah, but will they come on? Because I've contacted a couple of schools that study it, or they're doing all kinds of research, and the stuff that they do is so interesting to me because they apparently, foo-foo the paranormal. They don't want to be associated with the paranormal field, from what I'm gathering.
As I understand it, and again, I mean, this is definitely more of a subject for someone like Dave, not me, but as I understand it, parapsychology deals more with psi, which is like I guess you would call like remote viewing. It's not telekinesis. Telekinesis is I think it's psychokinesis. Telekinesis is the TV version of that term, I believe. So like moving things with your mind, or telepathy, ESP, these kind of things. And it's not necessarily, again, as I understand it, it's not necessarily for ghost hunting. They're not out there ghost hunting, because I feel the same way. It's more of a hobby. That's more of a hobby, not a serious academic study. So I think that's what. Oh, there you go. See, you should have Dave on the show. He would be great. He's answering all the questions.
And survival, like the people that
survival after death. So I think that's more like near-death experiences.
So I see, and it just confuses me that how they don't recognize with this end of it. You know what I mean?
Because it's a different. You're talking about an academic setting rather than this hobbyist thing that we all do. It's a completely different approach. When you're talking about an academic setting, they need testable claims. They form the hypothesis, which is your idea, your question.
Right.
Like, I think, well, this happens, and I think this is probably the cause of it. That's your basic generic hypothesis. And then you develop a test to test that hypothesis. You test that idea. And then you get into the research, and you get into all the studies. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, a lot of data.
But is it mostly though the power of what the brain can do? What your physical brain can do? Because that's what it sounds like. Like, because he says PK, what was it? PK, ESP.
PK is psychokinesis.
Right. So, so stuff that you can do with your mind.
Some of that, I mean, PK is to put it in real basic terms, I guess, mind powers. And then what do we got? We got, where'd he go? So he covers PK, ESP. Yes. I mean, that's pretty much the same kind of thing, same kind of deal.
I don't know
survival. Apparitions, mediums, reincarnation.
What's NDE? I don't know what that is.
Near-death experiences.
Oh, okay.
So these are all things that are testable.
But do parapsychologists believe in those things?
I don't. Again, I'm not a parapsychologist, so I can't answer for them. But I would say that it's not more of a belief; it's a study. They're looking for it. This is their research. This is what they're doing. So there's an idea. Say like reincarnation. That's an idea. Let's study it. They go and talk to people that claim to be reincarnated. They get their stories. They look at all the data. They try to verify certain things that they say, and try to figure out what's really going on here. So it's a. Oh, let's see. Dave says no. They form and test hypotheses. They apply the scientific method. So yeah, I mean that's it's an academic environment as opposed to ghost hunting. Yeah.
Yeah, but aren't we kind of doing the same thing? We're just using different tools.
No. Ghost hunting is so far from the scientific method.
I'm not saying scientific. I'm saying like parallel. Like, not saying that it's scientific. You know what I mean? But meaning, we're going to places. We're doing research on the historical sites. I mean, the people that do it right. Let's say the people that would be researching.
See, it depends on what we're talking, like historical research. I mean, that's we can do that, but when you're talking about going out there and looking for ghosts, the approach that's being done is a completely unscientific way of doing it, and unfortunately, the results are useless. They're useless.
Well, but I think because I don't know what you want to call it. I always just say that as humans, we have to label everything. So I'm just going to say, the afterlife, that, the ghosts, spirits, energy, whatever you want to call it. How can you measure something that is spiritual and whatever with scientific when it's the two I would think would, repel each other. You wouldn't be able to research that scientifically because there's nothing science about it.
There is. I mean, if it truly exists, if it does exist, then it's measurable. Somehow it's measurable. So we have to find out what is measurable. And sometimes you can do that by measuring the environment and seeing what's not supposed to be there, or what is supposed to be there and not. This is getting a little out of my wheelhouse, but like black holes, you can't see black holes. You just can't. But we can see the reaction it has on the environment around it. We can see the result of the black hole. Dark matter, same thing. We can't see it, but we can see the effects of it. That's why we're pretty sure it's there. We just got to figure out what's going on and keep advancing. When it comes to the idea of ghosts, this is a faith-based idea. We can still look for it, but you need a testable claim. If somebody just says that they think a place is haunted, okay, great. But there's really nothing we can do about it. We can go in there, we can start recording the environment. But I mean, if you're talking about your typical ghost hunt, your stereotypical ghost hunt, where you go in there for a couple hours and you spend maybe a few minutes, maybe a half hour taking what they call base readings, like right there, right off the bat, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it completely wrong because you have no idea what goes on other times of the day. Like if you go in and take readings of your electromagnetic field, you can't do it with a K2 meter. Just don't do it. That's just, you're doing it wrong right from the start.
Yeah.
You need to go in there with something that will take, a tri-field meter first, and then a data logger that will log all the data.
Tri-field. That's the only thing I love.
But you need to do this constantly for months and months to figure out where all the dips and spikes are, so that the pattern. You can recognize the pattern, and if there's a deviation from that pattern, you can pick it up. Going in there for 5 minutes, going into a room, and for 30 seconds, complete bullshit. You know damn well, Dave. Me, Tim, and Dave. Mostly Dave. Dave was like 90% of it, but we just did a paper on EMF and with haunted location. And I don't know where we've published it because again, he did 90% of it. I mean, the guy is so freaking smart. I try to keep our conversation short because I feel dumb sometimes after talking to him, but it's a good paper. It demonstrates the flaws with using EMF meters that are, especially ones that are single axis meters, and the gross mistakes that can be made.
Really?
It's so bad. I mean, he has graphs showing, like, if you have an EMF meter like this and it takes a reading, and then when he turned it just that much, completely different readings. So if you're walking around a place only going this way and you don't even stop and turn it a little bit, you're missing a ton of data.
All those things, all they have is like, they have like a cone shaped. So it only goes so far. Whatever. So far? Like the range and all those equipments and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, so EMF. I
don't use equipment. So I just go in and you know what I mean? It's just me, I
guess the basic point is that all this equipment that we see ghost hunters use, most of the equipment does the same shit.
Right.
Like there's really, we see dozens of different things, but really there's only like 4. There's only 4 different pieces of equipment. Just people repackage it in different boxes.
You know what I say it's like Taco Bell. It's like all the same ingredients.
All the same shit. Yep. Yeah. I
do use a recorder. I do use a recorder.
Okay.
That's what I do use. If I had a tri-field, that's the only thing that if I could sell and get rid of all my shit that I bought because I was stupid, like I didn't know any better. I thought it was cool.
We're all there. I have 2 shelves of ghost hunting equipment down in my basement that is stuff. Well, most of it is stuff that I bought and I used. and it just sits there now. Oh, that's a good. What is that? There's a link to the paper. Oh, okay. That's a link to our paper. To Dave's / a little bit me and Tim's paper on EMF. So it's and I warn you. So this is the warning. Okay, when it comes to the different approaches between an academic science approach and the hobby of ghost hunting, our approach is long, tedious, and boring as fuck.
Oh yeah, no, that's why I mean I respect it, and I appreciate it for sure.
I find it exciting though. I find it really cool.
I love learning it. I love talking to you. I always love picking your brain apart.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Because I feel like I actually learned something, you know?
There's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn. And I mean, it's, I go to conferences and stuff. Like we were just at Phenom, you know, and some of the conversations, some of the questions that people ask, it's like, did you read a book? Have you ever read a book? I mean, I don't like being mean, you know, because I understand not everybody reads. Not everybody enjoys reading. I can read for ever.
See, that's my problem.
If I have a steady stream of rum and like cheesesteaks, I will sit and read until I waste away to nothing, because I just love it. I love it. I love learning and especially applying what I learned. So it's not like I just
appreciate all your hard work.
Well, thank you. I try. It's fun. It's fun. Yo. What's up, Juan Tom?
So yeah, you were a speaker at Phenomenology.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't do like a presentation per se, but I teamed up with Jason Hawes and Sherry D. Benedetti. I keep practicing her name because it's long and I'm not used to saying it. But she was very nice.
She was awesome.
She was really nice. Yeah, that's the first time I met her. Well, actually, no. I met her in Gettysburg at the Battlefield Bash, the last bash.
I don't remember her being there.
She was there. She had a little table and like a banner behind her. And I only met her. I spoke to her for all of like 5 minutes. And that was pretty much it. So this was nice. I actually got to sit down and talk to her for a little bit and get an idea of her background and you know, her thoughts and stuff. And it was good. We had a nice conversation.
Yeah. See, and it's good to be able to have conversations with people like that.
Yes.
Where they can respect your side, you respect where they're coming from, you know, and it's just a good conversation and, you know, whatever. And
that's the idea. Like, you have to understand, I mean, we see so many fighting. So many people have fights or so many people have egos. Freaking egos are just a waste of time. Come together. If you have different opinions, talk about it. You know, talk it out. You don't have to agree. No one says you have to agree, but you can talk. You can bring up different points. I like having conversations like that, especially with people that have completely opposite opinions, because I want to understand why. Like, why do you think that? Why do you have that? Where did that thought come from? Where did that opinion develop from? I want to understand that because maybe you're right. Maybe you have some knowledge I don't. Or maybe I have some idea in the back of my head that, hey, I can demonstrate this and show you. Maybe it's not exactly what you think it is. And then we progress. We progress by having these nice conversations, these polite, friendly conversations. It can get heated. And it certainly got heated. Got heated really bad once.
Oh my God. I was like, okay.
So, but even after that, even after like that one big heated moment, the next morning we both apologized.
Yeah.
And you know, that's it. We shook hands, we spoke for a couple minutes, and that was it. I have no hard feelings. And I mean, even people that, I mean, Dave's a perfect example. Dave Schumacher and I have had several like heated arguments.
But how? Don't you guys aren't you both kind of like what you guys do? Isn't it similar?
Well, we still have different opinions on certain things. And especially within parapsychology. We butt heads once in a while. And it's not bad. It's not like I hate him. He doesn't hate me. We can get heated but we're passionate. We're passionate about what we do and the work
But what
that
would
we've
be
done.
something? What would be something that you two have different opinions about?
We've talked about like, oh crap, it's been so long. Just different studies. Like we had one, and I can't remember the details perfectly, but one of the big fights that we had or debates that we had was over a study of I think people's ghost stories, like their personal experiences, but it was over a course of like I forget the details, but like 20 or 30 years. Like I think one experience that was told from an old lady, I think, was something like 40 or 50 years old. I don't remember exactly, but these were all stories. They were anecdotes. So we were going back and forth on the accuracy of memory and the how memory can fade, how memory can be distorted, how we can fill in the gaps that we don't remember, and we were just going back and forth on that, and it got kind of heated, but not like heated. We weren't screaming and ready to beat
Right.
the shit out of each other. It was just more like, oh well, here's a reference, here's a paper, here's a book, and back and forth, and we kind of just said, all right, that's enough. We're good. Let's move on to something else. And we're still good friends. We do a show every Saturday night, and we get along. For the most part, we get along. And even if we disagree politely. It's like,
Yeah.
I say something or give my opinion, and if he disagrees, he'll come right out and say, well, I disagree with this, and this is why. And that's the mutual respect, because we just don't say, oh, I disagree, you're fucking wrong.
But is it more like you're disagreeing on the way it's being researched, or are you disagreeing on the belief of?
It could be information that either of us have that the other doesn't. It could be, hey, like Dave is really big in academic studies, academic papers. I mean, he's the man when it comes to that, and I totally respect that, because that's an expensive hobby. Because, I mean, you can pay like something, I think on average, like $20-$25 per paper. And I know he has hundreds, if not thousands of papers. Wow. So that man spends a lot of money on that stuff. So I respect that. And it's just nice. Review of the case collections that were published as a census of hallucinations and saying the guy, damn, I hate how smart he is. No, I don't. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Oh, you have a challenge.
I am the man when it comes to everything. Okay. All right, Tom.
We disagreed. Hold on. He said we disagreed.
Data, interpretation of data, and the meaningfulness of case collections and studies. So yeah, we disagreed on the interpretation of the data, and that's going to happen. That's going to happen because
that makes sense. Yeah.
When you interpret data, and we see it all the time. We see it every time somebody goes on a ghost hunt and comes back with their pictures, their video, their audio, their gadget that beeped or blinked. Some people are interpreting those beeps and blinks as that's a ghost.
Right.
Whereas like people like me and Dave are like, why? Show me why you're saying that's a ghost. Like what's, if you have this gadget, this REM pod, for instance, if you have that in the middle of a room and it goes off, how do you know that's a ghost?
Right. You can't. There's so many more things that have to happen.
There's other there's first of all, there's no controls over it. That's the academic approach. When we do experiments, we try to control as much as possible all the variables that might affect that. We try to control it so that we know what's going on, and we change one variable at a time and see what happens. We simply agreed to disagree. Yes. No big deal. That's not personal. See, that's the way it should be.
Yeah. I agree.
That's why we get along so good.
So what's your favorite, or what do you find is the most thing, because you always say, we're always talking about ghosts, but like, are you just as into, when I say into, I mean like your side of things with like Bigfoot and aliens?
So I guess the whole ghost community is more my forte. It's what I was involved in so much.
Well,
But
you
I
used to
do.
be a ghost hunter.
Yeah, I used to be a ghost hunter, so I delve into the other areas. So I've written about several UFO cases. I've written about several Bigfoot cases, and I'll go out to them. Eric Altman, good friend of mine, he has done those Bigfoot adventure conferences. I've gone to them and gone out with him and other investigators or Bigfoot hunters. I don't know exactly what you call them, but I've gone out with them to see like what's the big deal. I've also gone out with MUFON investigators, so the UFO people. I've gone to their
Do you know
conferences.
somebody in MUFON?
I know a few people. I've
I've
done.
been trying to get somebody on from there too. I'm such a loser.
Oh, I can put you in touch with. I can put you in touch with at least one guy that I know. I think that's still in it, but their organization had a big like drama thing happen a couple years ago, and it's all kind of a mess. So, but I've gone out with those on their investigations. Like a lot of their field investigators have used me for a consultant. So they send me their pictures and I go through them. And I've actually contributed to their manual on photography, like how to look at photographs and how to pick out certain details. So I've done training sessions for them too. I'm teaching them what to look for. So yeah, I do delve into all this other stuff. We've dipped our toes into religious miracles once in a while. Me, Dave, and Tim on our show, we actually did a show about weeping statues, and we were able to recreate that. We were able to make them. Oh, it's a long process. It took about, I think it took, well, I did a weeping statue. Dave did a bleeding crucifix, which was really, really cool. I really liked his better.
How though? But okay, so this is what I'm saying though. Like, yes, I used to watch Fact or Fake with Ben Hansen. Used to watch that. But I did. And it would take them forever, but then they eventually, after all this time and money and this and that, was able to maybe either make it look legit, like exactly what was being claimed, or somewhat near close, Okay. And I'm like, what average person has the access to be able to do that and the time when somebody says, yeah, but when somebody says, oh, it was here, it wasn't here yesterday, but it was here today, when it took that person literally 2 weeks to try to recreate something.
Well, this is actually a good question. This is a good topic because it brings up the idea of preparation. Because you have to realize, like, when you see a photograph or you see a video of something extraordinary happening, you have no idea, or none of us have any idea how long it took that person to prepare and set it up. One of the things I do a lot is I recreate poltergeist videos on like TikTok or YouTube. And sometimes it takes me all 5 minutes to set up. Other times when it's more intricate, it takes me an hour to get everything set up. And then by the time I go through it and get it just right, you're talking maybe 2-3 hours. But I'm able to recreate it. And we don't know how long it took that person.
Take video out of it.
Okay.
Let's just say I came to you and I said, this is what happened.
Okay.
This is what I saw. What I'm saying is, I forget what the fuck I was going to say. Shit. I hate when I do that.
It's when you drink so much.
No, because I was thinking about what you were saying instead of thinking about what I had to say.
That's why you need a notebook. You need a notebook and start writing stuff down. That's what I do.
What?
You were going to say, take the video out and say, you saw something and you went to him and say, well, I saw this. How did this happen?
If it was
what he's saying is, if it's not on video, then there's no reason to recreate it.
Oh. But would you believe me?
No. No, let me explain. Let me explain.
You're like in my circle and shit. You wouldn't believe me?
That's an extreme statement, because when somebody says, hey, I told you a story, don't you believe me? You're kind of putting the other person on spot. Like, it's not that I don't believe you. No, I don't believe that's what happened, because we don't know. Like, that's your perspective of what happened, and we can be mistaken. People make mistakes all the time.
Right.
In perception, in the way we view things, the way we hear things, people are always making mistakes. So we have to stop and take a breather, back up, and take a look at the environment, take a look at the situation, and say, all right, what really happened here? So if you came to me and said, hey, here's what I experienced, how do you explain that? And the first thing I would probably say, maybe on the little bit on the smart ass side, would be, it's not up to me to explain your experience. You're supposed to explain your experience. Because the one making the claim, especially if you say it's a ghost, if you're making the claim that it's a ghost.
What have you said?
Okay.
Yeah, the person would say, I don't know what happened.
Okay.
But this is what I saw. This is what.
So then we would go step by step and just recreate what you did, what you said, the environment, go back to the original environment and see what happens. Like, what can we see? What can we hear? It's not a process of me just sitting. Sometimes, yes, I can sit here and say, oh, it might be this, it might be that. And I can rattle off like 10 or 15 things. But in a lot more cases, but sometimes things happen in front of a big group of people. In this case, you would have to separate them immediately. You have to separate everyone and interview them separately. You can't have them all together. You can't have them spend time together. Because if it's like a week later, yeah, they're going to talk about it. They're going to fill in the blanks. If you hear someone else's interpretation and you're not sure what happened for like 5 seconds, but you hear someone else say, well, I saw this, that you're going to incorporate that into your story. Whether you're not trying to purposely make up a story, it's just, that's how we work. So you're going to incorporate that. And by the end of like a week or so, if like 10 people all together, they all start talking, they get their stories kind of straight, they all collaborate and they figure out what happened. Now you're interviewing all 10 and you're getting similar stories because everyone had the chance to talk to each other. The most important thing when a group experiences something is to separate them right away and then talk to them, interview them, let them describe events in their own words.
It's like the first rule of being Ghost Club. You don't talk about Ghost Club.
It's like playing an EVP for somebody and telling them what you hear.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Or giving somebody a picture and saying, don't you see it?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm having this argument on a page right now on it's like Gettysburg ghost pictures or something like that. And like literally I'm like, it is a boulder. I'm telling you right now, it's a boulder. It is not a soldier. And I'm like going back and forth with people and they're like, they get so angry.
I believe so bad. That's why.
And they're like, why are you on this page if you don't believe? And I'm like, I didn't say I didn't believe, but that is a boulder.
In that situation, that you can rectify. Because if you know it's a boulder, if you know the area, you either go on like Google Earth, you find it, or you go there. And you take a picture and you say, all right, here, I took the picture at your angle. Because something I've done dozens of times is print out someone's picture and take it with me. And then set it up. Like, all right, here's my phone.
Right? I mean, yeah.
You have to. That's the only way sometimes to show someone like, hey, you got this thing. You say it's a ghost. I'm saying it's a boulder. I went there. I got exactly what you got.
Yeah.
And this is what it is. And that's the only way to do it. And sadly, that usually ends badly. Like it's not, even if you're trying to be polite, they get so worked up. And I think who's there with you? Who's
no, we have, for the first time ever on Paranormal Brew, we have live audience.
Oh, like he mentioned, like belief. People believe, and it's so strong that they don't want to be proven wrong. Exactly. So if you show them that picture, they're gonna get pissed off because they're already fighting with you.
Why you're not coming on?
Because I'm sitting over here.
All right.
He's sitting over there off camera making a little comments.
My friend Mike. He now lives in South Carolina, but he was originally from Jersey, Brick, and he's home visiting. And I met him because when I became a part of the group that I never am going to mention.
Ha.
Can't do it.
Oh my goodness!
Shall not be named.
The group that. Oh,
Don't say Voldemort. Oh,
hi.
do you believe in human abilities or instincts? Human ability? What, Dan? What do you mean human abilities? I have the ability to draw. I have the ability to fix things. So yeah, I do believe in abilities. Instincts, yes. What is your opinion on empaths? What they're feeling, is it legit? I really don't consider myself intuitive or empathic. However, 2 days ago, I finished watering my garden as I walked away. I had a very strong feeling I was not alone and being watched. In the 6 months I've lived here, I haven't had that feeling. I spun around. A strong feeling something's there. Standing in that exact spot on up, his comment cut off.
I know.
So I don't believe in the psychic or metaphysical version of empathy or being an empath. I do believe in empathy. That's just our ability to understand and share the emotions of others. I don't think there's anything magical or spiritual about it. It's simply like, if I see someone that's sad, I'm going to feel it. I'm going to be like, oh man, that sucks. What can I do to help? If someone's happy, like when we all got together and everyone's smiling and happy, I'm happy because I'm sharing.
What if you're not with the person and you haven't talked to them in like 2 weeks? And then they call you and say, and like, let's just say you're like real sad and they call you and they go, what's wrong with you? You're not, what I mean?
That's pretty hard to prove.
But what about because twins can do it?
Now you're talking about something different though. Twins are the same person. If you're talking about identical twins, they are the same person. Like physically, physiology. Yeah. Biologically, they're the same person.
Yeah, biologically, but
so they're going to have the same or similar emotions about stuff. But again, it comes back to if someone is feeling like hurt or depressed and you just out of the blue call them, that's something that I don't know much about that.
Yeah.
I would say that's something like, is there actual case studies on that? Do we actually have examples of when that happened? That's very hard to do.
Wouldn't that be part of something that like a parapsychologist would
That study? Might be. If Dave's still in the room, he's the guy to talk to. That I don't know. I
feel like they might have done that with twins.
I mean, I randomly go through my phone sometimes and just look like who I talked to in a while. And I'll send a text to somebody that I haven't talked to in months or years. Telephone telepathy studies. Oh, that's an awesome name. I love that. Telephone telepathy studies. I'm writing that down.
He said they are published.
Telephone telepathy studies. All right.
Investigation has been in a good, happy mood and walked into a room and just instantly felt sad or dread or something like that.
And that kind of stuff, like that's an uncontrolled environment because, like, did it have to do with the decor? Was it contextual cues in the room? Was it the people in the room? Because, I mean, you can walk into a room of people and instantly get the feel of the room by the looks on their faces, their posture and stuff like that. So these are things we have to consider, and that's what part of these studies are, where they look at all of that. They set up environments that they send volunteers into and see how they react. So with that kind of thing, because I mean, I've done that all the time. When you go in, like just that's part of martial arts training. Like you walk into a room, you read the room right away to see what's going on here. Who can I trust? Who can I trust? Who do I look for? Who do I watch all night and make sure they stay away from me? Who's going to give me dollar bills if I dance on the table? Stuff that you really need to know.
We both like, that's what I know.
You got to know this stuff because what if you run short at the end of the night and you need some money for rum? you got to be able to do something.
Speaking of, I don't know where my drink is.
Oh, man.
And I am so thirsty.
Like if Kenny called me out of the blue to ask how I am after weeks after being at my garden, he didn't, but still. But see, is that just random? because again, like that's something I do sometimes. I just call people at random or text them at random and say, hey, you know, what's going on? I haven't talked to you in a while. What's going on? Or I'll send messages through social media just to say hi. All right. You're good to go, Dave.
Oh yeah. You know what? I actually have a video of that.
Oh,
Kenny.
oh yeah. I think that was a chair, wasn't it? I didn't get any money for that.
I so wanted to post it. I'm like, I'm not doing it. I can't do it.
Oh my. What happens at the bar stays in the bar. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That was a good time.
Yeah. Well, you could always say what we always do, but what me? That's not true. That's fake. Prove it.
Right. Exactly. No, Dave. The video is not for sale. No. Oh man.
But you didn't call me. Tom's getting on your shit for not calling him.
Oh, whatever. You haven't called me, bitch. Oh, yeah.
We went one up. He said, "I'm sorry, bitch."
That's all right. I love him. I love him. He's all busy with he's doing his own podcast and stuff, so he's all busy and shit. But yeah, this has been fun. I like this.
Apparently, there's a lot of people that might have a video.
It was a chair. Well, there was quite a few people there watching. That was fun. That was good. I did not get naked though, so that's a plus this time.
That's true. You didn't.
But did you find the right people to give you dollars?
No, nobody gave me dollars. Cheap fuckers.
I think I pretended. Oh yeah, thank you.
The chair moved around. Oh, thanks, Dave.
Thank you for coming on. Maybe you can really come on. That chair moved around. Kenny's lucky he didn't break his hip. Oh my gosh, you were like going to town.
I like to party. See, that's both sides though. Like I can be serious as fuck, but then I love to party and just have fun and let loose. I think that's what's so much fun about this community, because I can I mean, especially in recent years, you know, I can set up a skeptic booth in the middle of a paranormal conference, and I don't get shit for it anymore. You know, it's nice because most people embrace it. They're curious. They come over. They want to ask questions. They want to talk, which is great. Sometimes people bring me rum. Dr. Jim. Oh my goodness. Do you know Jim Clausen?
No.
Jim Clausen, Dr. Jim, old guy. Oh, the old guy that you were talking to. The old gentleman, the veteran.
Oh, okay.
That's Dr. Jim. He drove up from Tennessee just to hang out for the weekend with us.
Oh,
and
cool.
That was great. And he brought me a bottle of rum, which is even better. Love that man.
He's the guy that smoked out my bullet, right?
Yes. Yes. Okay. And it was, yeah. Yeah. Very interesting guy. Very interesting guy, to say the least. Yeah. But it's just fun being able to do that and to spread some information. One of the best stories from, was it last weekend? 2 weeks now. Oh my God.
I know. I couldn't believe it.
So the first day we set up, I think it was Thursday night. We set up in the morning and then opened, I think it's 6 or something like that. And a young lady came through and she asked about my Dybbuk box, the not a Dybbuk box. So I gave her the whole history of it. And I had pictures, I had documents, everything showing like, you know, this is where it came from. It was not from World War II. It was produced after that. And all this is a hoax. It was just a big hoax. And she started telling us a story about how she won some kind of contest where she went into Mr. Baggins' museum early before it opened to the public. She had a special tour and she went in there. She went into the room where the Dybbuk box was, and she was touching the glass and stuff like that. And then, unfortunately, 2 weeks later, her son committed suicide. Mm-hmm. So she, for ever since then, because it's been a couple years now, she blamed herself, thinking that her interaction with that alleged cursed box was responsible for her son's death. And I mean, she began like tearing up and everything. And she was so grateful. She thanked me so much for getting the history, digging up the documents and showing the history that it was a hoax. And there was so much relief in her face that she was carrying around this burden, this horrible, horrible burden.
Like, how can't he feel bad about that?
How can what?
How can't he feel bad about that?
Because he's a dick.
Yeah.
Basically, I mean, we're talking about Mr. Baggins here, but yeah,
right.
I mean, he probably doesn't even know, to be honest. You
don't think he knows?
I don't think he cares. I mean, he's making his money.
And he's probably got somebody that reads all his emails and letters and doesn't tell him half of the shit.
Well, I don't know. He blocked Kenny on everything.
Every time I try to find a different way. Like I post when he bought the satanic guitar, like a few months ago, I was able to get onto his Facebook page for his museum, and I posted the article I wrote about it, where I actually talked to the seller, who admitted that he made it all up. He made the entire story up. Just to sell the guitar, and I posted it on the site, and it's still up there.
Oh my god!
Yeah, he hasn't realized that I posted the link yet. He's got to hate me so much.
Oh yeah, 1000%.
Oh, that's okay. I don't care.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's the best.
No big loss there.
Kenny's my hero.
No big loss. I mean, and just for the record, if someone could get him on a show.
Oh, I would love
to debate me. I would totally do it. Totally.
I don't know. I heard he charges $20,000 to, show up to places. So
he's an idiot.
Who knows what he would charge to come on? I would love.
Can't you get what's the other guy's name that left? That was
Nick Groff.
Nick Groff. I talked to Nick. I've spoken with him briefly because he actually sent me a friend request on Facebook, and I was like, that's odd.
Probably because he probably hates
yeah, I asked him. I'm like, hey, before I accept this, I gotta ask. It's in my nature. Like, why?
Right.
Like, is this why? What's going on? He replied. He's just said he's read some of my work. He likes it, and he thought it'd be cool to talk. And I was like, all right, cool. That's good enough for me. Stud muffin, sugar lips. What? All right.
He wears medium shirt.
Medium. Oh my goodness. We got to talk about Schmedium later. I saw he put an announcement up. He's releasing something.
Really?
A DVD documentary.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Let's see. He probably.
Why does Tom keep talking about his garden? Tom, are you drinking?
Mm-hmm. Probably.
Oh, this was good. I wanted to share this.
Okay. People say Kenny is a token skeptic. I refer to him as a resident skeptic. Oh.
He says hour.
That's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that.
He is a peach.
I try. I mean, I'm really not out to piss anyone off. I mean, that's just the result of some of the stuff that I do. I can't help it. You know?
But it's not because you're trying to do that. You're trying to understand.
Although I will get
when it comes to
once in a while. I live by the golden rule of Patrick Swayze. Okay, so you be nice until it's time not to be nice. That's right.
I thought you were going to say like in the movie Ghost.
No. Patrick Swayze's rule: always try to be nice. I really try. If someone wants to yell at me, I usually let them. No big deal.
Know when that is.
Yeah, but if I'm feeling good and you start yelling at me, then I'm going to start yelling back, and then it's like, okay, well, now we're going at it. Then the peacock feathers go up and they get all fluffed, and spread out, and it's like, oh, rah, 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 rah. And that the whole Philly sarcasms comes out because I'm like, you want to scream at me, and I'm just going, come on, bitch, come on, bring it. I'm right here. I'm not going nowhere. Oh my goodness, that was a fun night.
Then you're like surrounded by, and we're like, and then you're out there, and like it was like the window is right here, and you're, and I'm like, we can't hear him, so he can't hear you. Either of you don't have no idea what each other's saying. And then he comes running out. Like, I'm like,
that's when I'm like, oh, I can't hear you, bitch. But no, again, like, and the gentleman that I had the conversation with,
said sorry. I know.
We not only that, but we've done that before. We've argued and heated, and again, I have no hard feelings towards him. It's just the passionate argument. That's all. That's all.
But then also add the alcohol and everything. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I mean, you have the alcohol in, and
I have the alcohol. I know he was tired. I was told he was really tired. He just got back from stuff, and
they were on an investigation earlier.
And people don't like being challenged, so I get it.
That's 100% it.
If I start getting pissed off, it's because like I didn't like how I'm being spoken to, and then I'll start digging. I'll start digging that little dagger of sarcasm into you, and so admittedly, yeah, I can be a dick sometimes. I know, but it's okay. I try not to. I really try not.
I know you don't. That's why I said you're misunderstood.
Yeah, misunderstood, man. I'm misunderstood. That's it. I'm misunderstood. I like that. I'm gonna get a T-shirt made just saying I'm misunderstood. That's it.
Yep, that's what I say that about myself all the time, but for different reasons. But that's what I say. I go, what do you mean? I'm like, I love Kenny. He's just misunderstood.
It happens. It happens. Find a button.
No, but he doesn't do it on purpose. You don't do it on purpose all the time.
No. But I mean, that's it. And we see that a lot, we see that a lot with arguments and with going back and forth between people that are disagreeing. They try to push the other person's buttons, the name calling, you're just from so-and-so, you don't matter, or, you get a lot of insults and you let that roll off your back. I try to stay on topic. If we're talking about something, if we're arguing about a specific topic, I want to stay on that topic. Let's stay on this until we resolve it. Either we decide we're never going to agree, let's part ways here, or we come to some kind of resolution. If you try to deviate from that topic, I'm going to stop. I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to let you rant. And then as soon as you shut up, I want to be like, hey, I thought we were talking about this. Can we come back to this? I'm going to totally ignore everything you said. Let's come back to the topic.
Well, I think
it's usually the people that don't have an argument that go to the insult and everything.
Well, that's what I was going to say. As soon as it goes personal, you know what I mean? As soon as you make a personal remark, it just goes down south from there. It's like the biggest one that I always hear people when they start to get into it is like, are you an idiot? Do you really believe that? And they're like, would you call me an idiot? And then
and then it's done. Yeah.
know?
And then
instead of keeping it professional or educational or, whatever you want to call it, but,
right.
Textbook, whatever.
Hey, it's something you deal with. It's something it's going to happen. People are going to be pissed off. They're going to call you names. They're going to say things like that. And you just either deal with it head on or say, all right, cool. And walk away and let it be.
Mm-hmm.
So
I haven't heard that. I don't know what he means by that.
What do you say?
He said the paranormal field has taken the place of some people's religion, and no one likes anyone attacking the religion.
Oh, I get it. So it's belief. That's what it comes down to. Instead of being like a devout Catholic and going to church and community service and all that stuff, the paranormal, the ghost hunting community has become their religion. Like they believe in the haunted houses. They believe in all the gadgets. They believe in all this stuff. And it's the community where they go and they thrive in it because they're part of this. It's all like-minded people. And that becomes their belief system. So when someone comes along and challenges it and says, well, what about this? Or that doesn't make sense because we know this from science. We know this from science. What you're saying doesn't make sense. That's a challenge. That's a direct that it's taken as an attack on your belief.
Right.
And that's why people react.
I get that.
So passionately and violently sometimes. So I get it. I get what Todd's saying there.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's why
or disapproval of the photos, like you were telling me before, they want to believe so bad.
Yeah.
And then you disprove that, and it's, you're challenging them.
Right.
I had a.
You know what else I want to get?
What?
Go ahead.
I had an old lady once, elderly lady. She came to Fort Mifflin, and she had a stack of photographs, and it was great. You know who Paul Michael Caine is?
Yeah, why does that sound familiar?
He's a well-known, established photographer, very famous photographer. He's a friend of mine, but he's him and I were at Fort Mifflin. This was years ago, and we both had booths set up. And this elderly lady came up to him and showed him some pictures, and he did one of these, like, "Oh, you need to talk to this guy," and he pointed at me. So she came over. She showed me the stack again. It was like a 2-inch stack of photographs, old printed 4x6s. And she showed me this one photo, and it was kind of blurry, but it had these 2 golden lights on it. And she was like, I talked to Mark Nesbitt. I talked to several ghost hunters, and they all agree these are 2 golden orbs, and no one has ever seen them before. And this gentleman told me to talk to you, and I need you to verify this. And I took the picture and I started looking at it, and I explained, like, first, I don't verify anything until I get to see it and I can actually see what's going on. And I looked at it and I said, well, this kind of looks like streetlights, like it's all blurry. I'm not sure, but do you have any other pictures? She starts yelling about, like, these aren't streetlights. I know what I was taking a picture of. And
then why is she coming to you?
Exactly. Why are you coming to me? She wants verification. Verification is that buzzword now. So I actually flipped the picture over to look at the next picture, and it was the same scene, but clear and in focus. And I was like, well, here's the other picture. These are telephone poles. These are the lights coming off of it. These are street lights. You had the next picture. She took them, screamed at me, yelled at me, told me I didn't know what I was doing, and that was it. She left.
So funny.
But that's the kind of thing. That's their belief. She was so invested in that thing that all she wanted was someone to tell her, yes, you are right.
But she did already.
She did, but it becomes an addiction.
Right.
When you can keep showing somebody this special thing that you have, and everyone's like, oh my goodness, that's so awesome. Right. You get addicted to that praise. That's what we see a lot of celebrities like that.
And there are some people, though, that will say that just to be nice to somebody asking them a question, and then they gets put in their head. That's why I'm always careful how I answer questions like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. A lot of times I come to you and I'm like, I want to tell them that this isn't it. How can I explain this in a way? Right. I always ask you, I'll always come to you. I'm like, can you help me explain this? Because I can't technically explain things a lot of times.
And one of my disclaimers, like right up front, if I'm not sure, if I don't know who the person is, if I'm not sure how they're going to take it, my first question is, look, I'm probably not going to tell you what you want to hear. Are you prepared for this?
Right.
And I want them to say yes. I want them to say, if they're not going to say yes, or they're like, oh, well, I know what it is, I just need you to say, agree with me, then I'm the wrong person. I'm not. Right. You're asking the wrong person. You need to go talk to somebody else here, because I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell you, I don't care who you are. You could be that little old lady that's really sweet and come up to me with a picture of a street light thinking it's a ghost. I'm going to tell you, no, it's not a street light. It is a street light. It's not a ghost. Right. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to pretend. The only time I really back off is that, and again, this is not conceding or making anything up, but if someone has a story, a personal experience that's more of a loved one that had just passed away, they had some kind of experience within a few days or something that gave them comfort, and they want to tell me about it. They're not telling me like to prove to me that it's real. They're not telling me the saying like, oh, this is absolutely true. You need to believe it. I'm going to listen to the story and say, okay, that's a cool story. Mm-hmm. But I'm not admitting that it's real because
Right.
what's the point?
Right.
If you're not trying to prove something, you have a story and it makes you feel better about it.
Right.
I'm not going to dispute that. I'm not going to like try to rip it apart because that would just be a dick move.
Right.
I think. Rather, I'm
Yes.
just going to be like, okay,
Yes.
cool.
Keep it in your head. Yes.
Right.
That would be a dick move.
But if they still want to know, and people have done that, they're like, so what's your opinion? I'll say, look, are you sure? Are you sure you want my opinion? You know,
Right.
I'll willingly give it to you, but
Be ready.
you have a good story. You have a cherished memory. If you want to keep it, by all means, let's change the subject, talk about something else, and go about our business. You know?
I was telling Mike about your box that you have that, not your box.
I'm thinking the same. I'm like,
What?
We all did, all three of us at the same time.
God damn, this took a turn.
You have, what is it? You have something inside of it, right? And you challenge your.
Oh, the remote viewing box. Yeah, I have that.
Yeah. Has anybody tried?
Lots of people have tried. No one's guessed it though. And I changed that. Like sometimes I do it on my show. Friday nights, I'll do it. I'll put it in something in the box and I'll hold it up, shake it a little bit, and then I'll reveal it the next week. Other times I take it to a conference and I'll usually have like a prize and people come up there, they can put their hands on the box. They can try to tell me what's inside of it. And if they win, if they figure it out, then they win the prize. But yeah, I've been doing it for several years now and no one's been able to get it right. And it's more of a tool. It's a testing tool. You know, it doesn't completely 100% say remote viewing is not real. Even though that's my opinion. It doesn't say that. It's saying here, you know, here's a way to test it. If you really think you can do it, by all means,
prove it.
Prove it. Show me. I mean, because this is great. And I think that's one of the reasons I had that confrontation that night at the conference. Because I think I brought it up. Said it's on my booth, bitch.
Come over and prove it.
Come on, prove it. Shut me up. And you know what? I think people don't understand. Like, even though I'm sarcastic, I'm having fun with this. I'm dead serious. I
know you are.
Wrong. Prove me wrong, please. I would love it.
That's what I was telling Mike. He wants somebody to prove him wrong. He wants
there is a $250,000 challenge that's available for anyone that could do stuff like that. And if you're the one that recommends them, you get $5,000 as a kickback. So I will absolutely.
I didn't know about this.
I want someone to prove me wrong so I can say, dude, here, go sign up for this. I will recommend you because I want my $5,000. You know?
Yeah, no, I didn't know this. I'm gonna start looking for people.
Oh my God. It's been going on for a while. James Underdown, he is the executive director of the Center for Inquiry Investigations Group. They offer a $250,000 challenge for anyone claiming to have paranormal powers and can demonstrate them under mutually agreed upon scientific conditions, which means both parties get together, they talk about it, they work it out until both parties are satisfied. Like, all right, these are the testing conditions. We both agree on them. And they set a date. You go out there. It's California, and you have to pay your expenses to get out there. But again, if you can really do it, you win $250,000. So I'm not worried about $1,000 to like fly out there and stay at a hotel. But you go out there, you do a preliminary test, and then you do a main test. When you pass the main test, if you pass it, you get a check. $250K. Wow. I can't tell you how many debates I've been into over that because I'm like, here you go. Here you go, man. Like, that's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money. So it's 5,000. I don't care what anybody says.
I'll take $5,000.
Yeah. I'll definitely take $5,000 for that. Whew. Damn.
Not to go down a rabbit hole, but just like briefly.
But
what do you think of the science? No.
Not to go down a rabbit hole, but
I'm not
diving in. Here we go.
No, not yet. Not going to do that. But like, have you read up on the scientific back then in the 70s that they did supposedly with the entity. That the true story.
Oh. Have I done any research? Yes. As a
Well,
matter of fact, I have.
Yeah.
And
Now,
I can't
granted,
really
yeah,
talk. I can't
I
talk
mean-
much because my piece on that will be coming out in the October issue of Skeptical Inquirer magazine.
Didn't know that.
I can talk about it a little bit though. What do you want to
Yeah.
know?
That was a setup.
I don't know. Like that, literally, that is the scariest movie I've ever seen in my life.
The
Like,
Entity?
yeah.
You
Why?
mean
Because it's
this
a true
movie
story?
right here?
Is that the original one
That's the Entity. Yeah.
with Barbara Hershey?
That
Yeah.
is. Yeah. That's the movie. Yeah. So I've briefly spoken with Kerry Gaynor, which is one of the investigators. So it was oh crap. Now I'm totally having a brain fart.
I know that name.
Kerry Gaynor and the little guy. Oh crap. Let me see. Hold on. So the Entity case, and it was case of Doris Bither.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it was investigated by Kerry Gaynor.
That's why I know that.
And
You sit up here.
Okay.
yeah, you can sit up here. It's okay. What
He's
the
like,
hell?
I'm comfortable.
There you go. Sitting on the side, being like all like ninja like.
he's a ninja.
The Entity. Doris
Yeah.
Bither.
I literally can't watch that movie by myself.
Why not? It's not that
Oh,
bad. It's not
It scares
not
me.
scary at all.
It's a true story.
No,
Well,
I think it's like the I don't even know. I think it's like the whole idea of she basically was raped by something that she didn't see.
Mm.
It is, or she believed that's what was happening. I don't know. You know what I mean? So I think how the movie, and I know it was a movie.
so it's based. I'm trying to find the doc because I'm totally having a brain fart. I can't remember the doctor's name, and I'm totally having a brain fart. I don't know why.
But they've literally created an entire house.
Barry Taff. That's it. I don't know why I forgot his name. So no. So the story is basically Doris Bither was the woman involved in this, and she claimed to have been in a house that was haunted, and she was repeatedly raped by three demons or three entities. One was a large one, two smaller ones that held her down. And she was talking about this, and she happened to talk about it in a bookstore where I guess Kerry Gaynor was. He was more of a parapsychology student. He overheard it, and he talked to her, and then him and Barry Taff went to investigate, and they spent 7 nights, I think, like not consecutive, but they spent 7 nights in the house, and they allegedly recorded a lot of visual phenomenon.
Yeah.
The problem is there's really nothing to show for it.
But there's no video, right?
They don't have any video, even though they said they had video cameras. They had a whole bunch of cameras going, like still cameras. They have a few pictures that, again, I'm not going to go into much here because I actually do go into it in my piece that is coming out in October. But even those are not impressive whatsoever.
Right. Right.
The main thing is
Like in a good part.
Right.
Wait. The main thing is what?
Weird. Oh, so the main for a second, like everything blanked out here.
Yeah, no, I
I
was like, great.
The main thing is that Doris Bither was an alcoholic.
Okay.
That's what was like a serious alcoholic. She had other problems going on. So the stories that she claims happened were never really observed. And when you read Dr. Barry Taft's book and his report on it, even he doesn't believe that the stories were real, but they investigate it anyway. So that tells you a lot. That really tells you a lot about it. I don't think it's scary at all.
Oh my God, it's the scariest movie ever.
I didn't think it was that scary either.
I'm not even kidding.
I didn't think it was scary, and I got the special edition one, so I could see all the commentary and the special the features
at the end and stuff.
So I mean, it wasn't. It was an interesting story. The movie was actually pretty good. If you take away the based on a true story kind of thing from it, it was pretty good.
On a true story.
Yeah.
Yeah, based on a true story. As long as you have someone's name right, then it's based on a true story.
Exactly.
You know, other bullshit like this, the Conjuring universe bullshit that's based on a true story, especially this last one. And I was part of a whole show where we pretty much took it apart, but based on a true story, yeah, maybe like 0.5% of that film was based on a true story.
Wait, you know what the one thing
That's The Devil Made Me Do It. I just watched that one.
Wait,
Yeah.
I didn't see it yet. But this phenom is the first time I've ever met Andrea. And I'm like, I just got to know one thing. And she's like, what's that? I said, did you guys really play the clap game? Because that's amazing. I was like,
Oh my goodness.
She was like, nope, that's made up. I'm like, damn it. I was like, I thought that was such a cool game.
Her story is awful.
Now, can I ask you, do you two talk?
I spoke to her briefly. This is actually a fun story, and she doesn't know this, but I met her at White Hill Mansion. So she came out there, and I have her books. I have all 3 volumes of her House of Darkness, House of Light.
Yeah.
I absolutely hate them. I think they're the worst written books I've read in a long time. It's all over the place. There's mistakes. There's timeline. Like, you're confused through half of it. I have notes throughout all 3 volumes. Like, I wrote in it,
right,
like circled stuff going, nope, verified. This is bullshit. This didn't happen. This stuff. Wrote all over it, all pages, highlighted everything. I had probably like, those little page tags or page flags in it. There were probably like 30 to 40 in each book. And I brought them with me. I took out all the flags and then I walked over her tent and I was like, can you autograph these?
Oh my God.
So she opens it and starts paging through like the first couple pages. And I'm going, oh, fuck. Oh, if she gets, because it was probably only like 5 pages in that I started writing stuff. I'm like, if she sees that, it's over. It's over. But no, luckily she got to the main title page and just wrote stuff in there. So I have all 3 books autographed, which is good. I'm glad she didn't page through it. Oh man, I thought she was going to pick them up and just, it would open to a page and she would just see like notes saying, fuck this. But do I have, no, I don't have them on the show. Oh yeah, I do. Hold on.
Oh my gosh, Greg, I thought the opposite. I thought it looked real for the time.
Oh,
you remember that part? What? Remember the part where when the ghost was like touching her boobs?
Yeah.
I was like, for being in the early 80s.
No, I thought the whatchamacallit, CGI stuff and all of that, the
was
effects
good,
or whatever you want to call it, were pretty good for that
time, right?
So there's the inscriptions.
Can you see it?
So she wrote something nice. I can't read it. It's very old world, but there's like highlighted sections.
I can't.
And it got. Oh wait, there. Let me see. What was that?
Stupid thing. I can't get it to like.
Yeah, there's like notes, like I wrote stuff like that, and it's basically like, what the fuck happened here? Nothing happened. I mean, the original movie. Oh, look at that. Okay.
Hi.
The first Conjuring movie, if you take away the real life events, and especially like all the documents and everything that I know about the story, if you take that away, it was a decent horror movie.
Sure.
I'll give it that. Even the second one, the Enfield case.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
That was a decent horror movie.
I think I heard about it, but I didn't
Not too
see
bad.
it.
But knowing what I know about the cases, and having all the documents, the original documents, and knowing like most of the shit that they provided for the film, historic wise or history wise, was wrong. Kind of kills it.
You're talking about the entity, or are you talking about Conjuring?
But The Conjuring, yeah.
Oh,
The Conjuring.
Well, from what I heard, like me and her really didn't talk too much about. Well, we talked for 2 hours at 3:00 in the morning. One of the nights I was there, I don't know how the heck I got stuck. I don't know how that happened, but we literally we didn't talk about anything that had to do with ghosts or anything with the house or anything with her books or anything. We talked about. It was really weird. Like we talked about, because she's like, I was like, I don't have kids and she doesn't have kids. And I'm like, do you regret it? Like we were like talking about like weird,
Like
just all
female shit.
Yeah. and then politics got brought up, and we had two totally different opinions. We are on two total opposite sides of the spectrum of that. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to just let it go. And I kept trying to bring up other stuff. I brought up the clap game. How cool I thought that was.
I don't talk about politics. Like that's one subject I just steer clear of because
Dana knows. She talked and you bit your tongue. I did.
People just get too passionate and very hostile about it. So I avoid it.
But I did hear though that she lately, and I don't know if this has been the claim the whole time because I've never had a conversation with her, and nor have I read her books.
You don't have to. Honestly, you don't have to.
But I heard that she's like thinks everything that's happened in the house, around the house, and to her and everything is alien.
Yep.
Related.
Yep.
But has that been the claim all around?
No.
I mean, since the beginning.
No. That was, if you go back, and this is something I did at the urging of one of the researchers that came before me looking into this stuff. There was a gradual rise where she was putting out her story and nobody was really paying attention, and it kind of slumped, and the UFO aspect was added later to try to boost attention,
rejuvenate it.
But see, that's what I said. I said, how many times, like once you start to get like that
notoriety, yeah.
You can only tell the same story so many times. Like you have to start to make it a little bit more interesting, right? I mean, I don't mean that disrespectfully. Like I just didn't know if that was. Does it sound
the crying, the sobbing during her lectures is just an ongoing thing. Like
but I thought that I heard originally, like she came out and said like nothing bad was ever there or something. It was like
that. I don't know. I mean, from what I gather from these books, like she got all her information from her mother, and where her mother got information about Bathsheba and all the other things that were happening in the house, I have no fucking clue.
Right.
No one does. I talked to the historical society up there in that area. I talked to his name was Kent. Oh my God, I can't remember his first name. But he was a retired journalist that has been researching the history of the area for like 30 years. None of this stuff. Nobody knew where the mother got this information, because everything she said happened. All the people that died or committed suicide in the house, there's nothing. There's no records whatsoever. So as far as I'm concerned, it was fabricated. It was completely fabricated. she took stories from other areas and tried to claim them for the house.
The mom.
Yeah. And unfortunately, Andrea ran with it. Instead of doing research, instead of verifying stuff, she just took the stories and ran and then added to it. And that's why I put a lot of the blame on her for like Bathsheba. Bathsheba is blamed as this demonic presence that killed a baby and did all this stuff. Absolutely untrue. Absolutely untrue.
Right.
But it's all in this book. It's all in here. And several times she puts the blame on these people that had nothing to do with the house. Now she's rectified the story, to try to say, oh, it wasn't her, but unfortunately the damage is done. You know, it's in print, it's in the books, and the movie's out. Everyone that's the problem with these movies. That's why I have a problem with all these Conjuring movies, because they're putting these people on pedestals they don't belong.
Right.
They're glorifying and exploiting these stories, and they're wrong. They're this last one, The Devil Made Me Do It.
I didn't see it.
95% of the film was made up for the film.
Wow.
Are
Nothing
they
to
saying
do.
that it's a true story?
Yeah, it says right in the beginning, this is the true story of Andrew, whatever his name was, and
Arnie. Arnie. Well, David Glatzel. David Glatzel was the little kid that was possessed. They even changed the details of the kid.
Right, Arnie. That was his name.
David Glatzel was the one that got possessed, and then Arnie Thompson was the one that murdered or killed his landlord.
Right.
But that story is pretty much that's left behind. That's overshadowed by the made up elements of the film, and it's horrible because that's what people are going to remember.
Right.
When they start remembering, like, oh, this happened because the Devil Made Me Do It trial, they're going to say, oh, well, this happened and there was a witch involved and this and that. I'm like, no, no, there wasn't.
I guess I have to watch it. I haven't seen it yet.
It's on the HBO Max.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it yet.
And again, like out of the three movies, like in that series, the first two I enjoyed just as movies. This one,
there's more than.
Yeah, the third one, it was kind of all over the place too. It almost seemed like they pieced it all together at the last minute, and it didn't.
Are you talking about the
didn't
Conjuring?
flow good. The third one, yeah.
I didn't even know there was. I thought there was only two.
No, it was the first one. The second one was the Enfield case, where it had all the people with bad teeth. And,
I can't do that. I could only watch 3 seconds of Wrong Turn, and I had to turn it off. There's no way I would.
So.
No, I don't know what goes. You say that, I'm done.
I mean, it was a good movie for a movie.
But is it like Wrong Turn people?
No. They're just English people.
Is it Wrong Turn shit that happens?
No.
I can't deal with those movies. I'll have anxiety forever. Just like Strangers. That movie fucked me up. I can't believe I watched that whole shit. I was freaking out.
Yeah, movies don't bother me.
They do me.
They don't.
Like, I can't watch, I couldn't watch even the Texas Chainsaw Massacre that had Jessica Biel in it.
Oh my God.
I love Jessica Biel, by the way. She's like.
Yeah. Well, she's hot.
Yeah. Very.
I
was watching it and I couldn't even finish it because it was freaking me out. I couldn't eat soup for like a month.
Those movies, you know what? It's like those kind of movies I turn on at like 2 a.m. when I'm bored and I'm still awake. I turn something on. I watch it till like 3 or 4 a.m. and I'm like, okay, now I'm hungry. I need to go eat something.
Yeah. The only movie I was never able to watch was The Human Centipede.
Oh, no, don't even bring it up. I have never seen it and I have nightmares.
Now I got to look that up. I don't know what that is.
Oh my God, Kenny.
Listen, it is one of the most vile, disgusting movies ever made.
And then you got to think about the people that think this shit up.
Well, I'd think that shit up. I would just want to make a movie about it.
No, you can't think that up, right?
Oh, 2009 film. Oh, I'm gonna watch this tonight.
No, you're not. You're not gonna like it. You're gonna have nightmares.
Have you ever seen the movie Teeth?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That's a great one there, though. You've never seen Teeth?
I highly recommend that movie.
Yeah. Look that one up and watch it. Yeah.
No,
that's something. That is something.
That is
yeah. Ever since I heard about that movie, The Human Centipede, I literally sometimes at nighttime, every once in a while, I'll lay in bed and I'll be like, "Oh, how the fuck? What did?" You know? And I can't even imagine. Yeah. I can't even imagine.
Kenny, did you read the premise on that movie, The Human Centipede?
I'm looking at it now.
Disgusting.
Yeah, this guy kidnaps people and sews their mouth to asshole, mouth to asshole, mouth to asshole, and only the person up front gets fed.
So gross.
Yeah, the rest of them all get leftovers.
They get the processed meat.
Yes, they get the.
Ew, and then somebody was telling me that he takes them outside, out back and stuff.
Yeah, in the yard.
Stop! I don't want.
That's funny. Oh, look at the picture. That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
All right. I know what I'm doing later.
Ew. I can't.
Oh my goodness.
That's movies that freak me out are more like the Hostel type movies.
I never saw it. I would freak. I would have nightmares.
Because that shit that could happen.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Wrong turn could happen.
Oh yeah, that's true. Too.
Horror movies nowadays, it's like if it's not gory and they try to do the horror thing, it's so just it's been done. Like I haven't seen anything new.
But the gory stuff could happen.
The gory stuff could happen, yeah. So that's scarier than the ghost kind of movies to me.
My friend, he said, "Wow, I'm gonna skip that one."
Good choice.
Oh man.
No, not sexy things, sexy time. I always say that wrong turn people want to kill you so they can have sexy time on your dead body.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Yeah.
It's getting late. I'm going to get going soon.
Thanks for coming on.
No problem.
I wanted to ask you.
Ask me.
Do you know a flatliner? A flat earther?
A flat liner? Damn, that's completely different from a flat earther.
Yes. Well, they could be the same, but yeah.
Sure.
Wow. Do I know a flat earther? No, I do not.
Come on. I want to talk to a flat earther so bad.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
I do.
No.
Even though I don't believe it, I want to.
I've spoken to a few, and it's very trying. It's very trying. My patience. I have a lot of patience. I can really listen and listen out, but when you come to a conspiracy theorist like that, when they're so convinced, they are not willing to discuss. They want to tell you. Mm-hmm. They're not into it. They're not into conversations.
I want to hear how their brain works. Like I want to hear.
Well, like that meme. If the Earth was flat, a cat would have knocked everything off it by now.
But yeah, that's another.
I'm sure you could probably reach out to Mark Sargent. He's like the top spokesperson for the Flat Earth Society. Really? He's invested. He was in. Have you ever seen the documentary Behind the Curve?
Mm-mm.
All right, I think it's on Netflix. I'd advise you to watch that first.
Okay.
It follows Mark Sargent. It's called Beyond the Curve or Behind the Curve. Yeah, Behind the Curve, I think. Let me make sure because it's a really good documentary. And it follows Behind Curve. No, is it Beyond the Curve? Behind the Curtain? Maybe it is Beyond the Curve. Let's see. Beyond the Curve, Netflix. Yes. Okay. So it follows several flat earthers, including Mark Sargent, and it also intersects with some scientists that refute some of their claims, but it also goes through pretty much the day in the life of a flat earther. including in conference. But you also see them do experiments where they expect to prove that the Earth is flat, which includes purchasing, I think it's a $20,000 gyroscope, because they're so sure it's going to work and show that the Earth is flat, and it goes horribly wrong for them, which is fucking awesome. It's so funny.
But why are there scientists out there to try to? How do you waste your time?
They're refuting it. They're saying no, it's not. This is not flat. This is why, and some of the claims that they're coming up with. So I would suggest watching that first, and then if you're going to get into a flat earther coming on, but just be prepared.
Yeah.
Be prepared. You're never going to be right. If you question it, you're still not going to be right. And that's the mentality that I've dealt with. That's why I don't bother anymore. It's just, it's a waste of time.
Yeah. I want a flat earther.
More power to you. I'm not doing it.
There was a question back and we were in the middle of talking. So
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is either. Synesthesia.
Oh, here it is.
When musicians claim to see a certain color when they hear a certain note.
Is a neurological condition in which information meant to stimulate one of your senses stimulates several of your senses. People who have this word are called another word.
Another word.
This word.
Which means perception. So it looks like it's a real condition. It's a neurological condition. Is there any form of it that you would believe over others? For example, musicians claim to see certain color when they hear a certain note. I mean, I don't know about this. This is not in my wheelhouse, but I mean, it looks, from just a quick search here, it looks like an actual neurological condition. So yes, I would say preliminarily, yeah, that's a word. That it probably is something real. And I don't know, because this is something that's really hard to distinguish, because you're talking about someone's personal perspective. You know, This is something that they can experience, but you cannot. Right. And I can liken it to, like, recently I've heard more people like say they don't have the imagination that other people have. Whereas, like, if you say a word, some people say that they can see it in their head. Like, they see the picture of what you're talking about in their head, while other people say, what are you talking about? I can't do that. I don't see it. I mean, my imagination, you start talking about a story or a place, I totally see it. I can see it in my head, you know, but I don't know if other people see it like that, because I'm the only one that sees in my head what I'm seeing in my head. Right. Which is probably a good thing. But this, I don't know. I mean, people seeing maybe musical notes or seeing colors when they hear music. I mean, I get certain smells and it takes me back to certain memories. Like, it brings me back to, like, Disney World is like a great memory of mine, childhood memory. And every time I come out of a summer heat and into an air conditioned room, for some reason, that reminds me of Disney World. I have no idea why, but it does. So I can't explain why. It just happens. And I can't prove it to you because it only happens to me.
Right.
So that I don't know. But it's a good question, Dan. It's something to look into a little bit more. Because I remember hearing about it and just touching on it, but I've never delved into it. It's just not something I've gotten into.
Well, you should write it down in your notebook and work on that word.
Ready? Well, it's still up. I'm gonna ask Google, how do you say that? Let's see. Pronounce
Synthesia? Wait, synesthesia?
Let's see. What? Oh, here we go.
Synesthesia.
Synesthesia.
It sounds negative.
Synesthesia.
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 I'm going to name my next cat that.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, here, meet my fur baby. What's her name? Synesthesia.
Synesthesia. All right.
All right.
All right.
I'm going to let you go to bed. Thank you so much for coming on.
You're welcome.
That's
Anytime.
always awesome.
Anytime.
I love it.
Yeah. I mean, look, we had no idea what we were talking about, but we got almost 2 hours out of it. That's awesome.
It was
But it was
awesome.
a fun conversation.
It was.
Good.
It was good.
Good. I'm glad the audience approves.
my first live audience.
Yay! You know what? That was actually, here's a quick story. At Phenom, we did, someone's at your door.
Oh my God.
No, I probably snake clapping.
Stop it, brother.
The host can't leave the show.
All right, good.
So we're at Phenom, and my buddies Dave Schumacher, who was in the chat room, and Tim Vickers. That was the first time that the three of us were together ever.
Right.
So this first time we got together and we do a show Saturday night. So Saturday night at the conference, we did our show live, and it was funny. Like, one of the funny things was that I'm used to looking at this screen and seeing them, and not looking
Right.
next to me. So that was kind of weird. But we actually had people come up, like bring up chairs and sat in front of our booth and watched us. And I was like, this is freaking me out, man.
Yeah.
I'm not used to
I
seeing
didn't
the
know. I
audience.
would have came.
It was cool. It was cool.
I had no
Like, we
idea.
weren't sure it was going to work because we weren't sure about like the internet connection and how spotty it was. But it did work out good. And since it did work out, then if we get together again, I'm trying to get them back out
Bash?
for the bash. I'm trying to.
Oh my God, that would be so cool.
But I'll probably bring out my gear anyway and maybe do my own like live show Friday night.
I thought you were going to do that at Phenom.
I was gonna, but like our schedule was so packed and I wasn't sure if I was going to have time and when we were getting in and how busy it was going to be. So, and Friday night was my presentation with Jason. So
Right.
that was the same time as my show. So, all right.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm good. Can
All
I
right,
plug
well.
my stuff real quick?
Absolutely. Plug away.
Awesome. So if you're interested in more, if you liked what you saw tonight, you can find me every Friday night right here on the Skeptical Help Bar. I stream that to my YouTube channel and my Facebook page. I am Kenny Biddle. And then that's at 9 p.m. Eastern. On Saturday nights, I do 3 Tortured Souls with Dave Schumacher and Tim Vickers, and that's at 8 p.m. Eastern. And otherwise, you can find me my articles for Skeptical Inquirer magazine. I write a column for them. Try to write every other week or so, and another one should be coming out within the next couple of days for a recent ghost photograph. But check that out. And otherwise,
Wait, what ghost photograph?
we love them too. I love them. I love explaining them.
What?
Figuring them
No,
out.
I'm saying what one?
Oh, the Stanley, a recent one at the Stanley Hotel.
Oh.
So it just came out. I think the news reports came out like 2 days ago about it, and so I looked into it and was able to figure out. I think I figured out what it is. So you'll have to wait and see.
Awesome. I guess I'll be checking out
Cliffhanger.
Skeptical Inquirer.
That's right. It'll be online, so I'll be sharing it as soon as it comes out.
Awesome.
But other than that, I'm good.
Love you.
Love you too.
Oh.
He's a peach. Awesome. So then you'll have to come back on again. I know this is like, once in a while thing, but
Okay.
I
That's
love
fine.
having you on.
I love being on.
And then maybe if you can help me with a couple of people I want to try to get on.
Yes, I will. I will see. I'll send you some names of people that I know that might do it. I can't guarantee it, of course, but
Right.
yeah, that you can try and reach out to. Again,
Even the flat earther. Even the flat earther.
Flat Earther, you're on your own with that. But I would definitely reach out to Dave Schumacher, who was in the chat room. He would be your best bet to start with, because
Yeah.
if you want to talk about science and stats and data, he's a good guy. He's a good guy to talk to. So you might want to get him on, but definitely do your homework. Have questions ready for him, because he's going to science the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes he talks and I'm like, keep talking. I got to look up what you're saying. I got to look up some of them words because I don't know what they mean.
Well, if you
Gotta
gotta
ask
look 'em up,
Google how to say them.
Yep. But he's a nice guy. I mean, if you're not sure what he's saying, you can
it'll
ask
be
him
the
to
whole
explain it.
time. He'll
Yeah.
just have to dumb it down like big time.
That's all right. He'll do it. He'll do it. He's a good guy.
All right, Kenny, thank you.
You are welcome.
Give a big,
And
huge smooch to Donna for me,
I
please.
will. I will.
And I'll see you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Are we just, am I